So the other day I was on a train and there was a fight happening in the carriage next to us. What happened was two guys fell out over a spare seat. One wanted to sit in the seat, the other wanted to sit on it. And they both ended up fighting over who was going to sit there. The fight unfortunately turned ugly. There was punches and the people screaming and running away from them down the carriage as the train stopped in the middle of a station. Now, to me, this is a very good example of what's happening in the reactive mind, what we call the reactive mind. So I can see it in the other people. The people fighting were reacting against what they thought was a threat, their enemies. They wanted the seat for themselves. And of course, you can see that it just turns into suffering and pain and hatred very, very quickly, from a very civilized train to a very hateful, unruly train in the space of just a few minutes. And of course, in my own mind, I was just sitting there not getting involved, and I could already feel myself reacting just by being there. It's like something was happening to me. I wasn't in control of my mind. It was just anxiety was rising in me. I was getting palpitations. I was sort of ready to fight or flee myself. And it just struck me that our mind is so programmed that we think we're in control, we think we're aware, we think we're sort of the directors of our life, of our minds, but of course we're not. In a way, our mind is sort of acting by itself almost. It's reacting. And in Buddhism would say it's this reactive mind that's leading to, well, not only our suffering, but the suffering of the world, and the cause of all the problems in the world. And what Buddhism also says, it doesn't have to be like this. Yes, that of course, there's nothing, it's just human nature to have a reactive mind, but we could also have what we call a more creative mind, in a way, and in the end, a mind that's in touch with a deeper reality, what we call the absolute mind, what truth really is. So what is the reactive mind? Well, I'd say the reactive mind, well, first of all, the clue's in the title. It reacts. So again, without really sort of being aware, it just does things. It just thinks things. It sort of tells you to do things, talking about it like that. And it reacts to external stimuli. You see an advert, you want something, you buy something. There's not much consciousness going on there. You're just reacting. I remember once I bought tickets to this play, and I sort of watched the play. It wasn't a very good play, and it's a play that I wouldn't have normally have chosen. And I thought, why did I book tickets? And I remembered that I'd seen an advert for it on the tube and just was sort of attracted by the advert and just went ahead and booked it without thinking about it. So it just struck me that advertising really does work, and it's just me reacting in that way. And of course, we're doing that all the time for all different stimuli as well. The reactive mind is also a mechanical mind. You could say it's like a penny in the slot type of mind. So you see something, you see an opinion, and you just have a thought based on that opinion. So it's not a thought based on what you really think or believe or deeper truth. It's just a reaction to an opinion. And of course, you only have to go on the online world to sort of see that happening, playing out. And of course, that does have a real effect, not only on our minds, but on the world. It can influence elections, it can influence how we are, it can cause real harm. So that's the mechanical aspect of the reactive mind. And the reactive mind is also repetitive. It just becomes a habit. And when that's happening, it can look like we just become zombies. You only have to get on the tube these days again to see us all on our phones. It is true, isn't it, acting like zombies, because we're just, again, reacting in this habitual way, going for the phone. And ultimately, we've lost our awareness. We're unaware. So we can't possibly then direct or find meaning in our lives because we're unaware. And what Buddhism would say is that the state of our mind is the state of our lives. So if we're stuck in the reactive mind, then we're stuck in a reactive life, which means a life of suffering and a loss of meaning. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is to cultivate, to work on a more creative mind. So the creative mind doesn't react, it responds. You can imagine that with a creative mind, you're sort of stepping back and getting a larger perspective on things. So you're not just reacting. And that means that you're more in touch with positive emotion. In a sense, the joy, the happiness, the love, the connection that we all really need to make the most out of life. we're in touch with that, and we can just love when there's no reason to love. The creative mind is independent, which allows for free thinking. You're not just taking on the opinions of the world, and more importantly, that means you're not taking a side. So with a creative mind, because it's independent, you're not on one side or the other. In fact, the side, if you're on any side, you're on the side of truth, of meaning, of value, of connection to all, rather than just being swayed by opinions of the group and, in a sense, adding to the disharmony in the world. You end up, well, trying to create harmony, peace, and what the world really needs through having an independent mind and through not taking a side. And finally, the creative mind is responsive. What that leads to is a sense of someone who's responsible and someone that can really contribute to life. So how we move from the reactive mind to the creative mind is to cultivate awareness. It's with awareness that you can find the gap between the reactions and the creative mind. So it's really important to have a daily meditation practice, but it's also really important to go on retreat. In a sense, you need periods of intense withdrawal from the world, because it's in these periods where you can learn to meditate for longer, meditate more often, and more systematically as well, with like-minded people in the conditions that really cultivate this creative mind. Of course, the world is cultivating the reactive mind, it's stimulating the reactive mind, whereas on retreat, it's a whole atmosphere, it's a whole setting that's designed to cultivate, to support the creative mind. So it's the reactive mind that causes our own suffering and also the suffering in the world. And it's cultivating the creative mind that can lead us to our true potential, to freedom from our suffering, to unlimited energy, unlimited connection with others, and in the end, a life truly worth living for, a life that can really contribute to the world. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more of this content, then do subscribe to our YouTube channel and like it, because we upload content every week, which keeps you inspired. The aim of it is to keep you inspired, keep your sources of inspiration alive. But even better, if you can come in person to the London Buddhist Centre, then do come to the centre. It's at the centre where you'll get the atmosphere of the creative mind, which is very, very conducive to deeper states of meditation. And what's even more conducive, of course, is going on a retreat. It's on a retreat where you'll be meditating for longer and more habitually throughout the day. And it's a place where you're not on your phone, where you're not in the busy world. It's a place that, again, is supporting you to find that creative mind. So I really hope to see you either at the Buddhist Centre or on retreat.